Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the additional council meeting of the 15th of September 2025. This meeting has been called to discuss specific business. Before we commence the meeting, I request that all mobile telephones are turned off or switched to silent. Thank you. I'd like to start by reading the acknowledgement of country. I acknowledge the Wurundjeri Woiwurrung people as the traditional owners and original custodians of this land and pay my respects to their elders past and present and elders from other communities who may be here today. My name is Councillor Sophie Tawney and I am the Mayor of Boroondara City Council. I'll introduce my fellow councillors. Seated to my left at the horseshoe table in Council Chamber are Councillor Lisa Hollingsworth, Councillor Shimmer Abuki, Councillor Wes Galt, Councillor Felicity Sinfield, and to my right are Councillor Victor Franco, our Deputy Mayor, Councillor Rob Baillieu, Councillor John Friend Pereira and Councillor Chris Pattis. I also acknowledge in attendance this evening our Chief Executive Officer, Mr Philip Storer, and our Manager of Governance and Legal, Mr Brian Wee. There are other officers in attendance tonight and they will be introduced as required. Please note the council meeting is being live streamed on the council YouTube page, so you can watch proceedings of the meeting, councillor deliberations and voting. The meeting will also be recorded and made available on the council website as soon as possible after the meeting. We'll start with agenda item 1. I'll now move to apologies. Mr Wee, are there any apologies for this evening?
Through you, Madam Mayor, Councillor Osborne-Smith and Councillor Nolan are apologies this evening.
Thank you. And we'll move on to item 2, declaration of conflict of interest. Councillors and council officers, are there any conflicts of interest that you wish to foreshadow for the matters on the agenda tonight? No. Let's proceed with the agenda. Presentation of officer reports. Item 3.1, appointment of new Audit and Risk Committee member. This item will be introduced by Mr Brian Wee, Manager of Governance and Legal.
Thank you, and through you, Madam Mayor. Council is obliged to have an Audit and Risk Committee, as some councillors have direct experience of that. The Audit and Risk Committee comprises 5 members, 3 independent members and 2 councillor members. The independent members are appointed for terms of up to 3 years, and there is a maximum of 6 years in total, so 2 appointments of up to 3 years each. One of those seats became vacant recently, and as a result, Council undertook a recruitment process or an expression of interest process to seek a replacement. In total, the role was advertised for 6 weeks, and over 140 expressions of interest were received. Those expressions of interest and subsequent interviews were conducted in accordance with the Audit and Risk Committee Charter by a delegate of the Mayor, Councillor Baillieu, Councillor Abuki as a representative of the Audit and Risk Committee, as a sitting member of the Audit and Risk Committee, the CEO and myself. A number of shortlisted applicants, candidates were interviewed, and as a result of that, the interview panel recommended Mr. Richard Ainio to be appointed to the Audit and Risk Committee as an independent member for an initial term of 3 years. That is the resolution that's sought by Council this evening. I note Mr. Ainio's CV is contained in attachment 2, and the proposed rate of remuneration is in attachment 1. Both of those are confidential attachments. If council seek to discuss that, we may need to move into a confidential session. Happy to take any questions. Thank you.
Councillors, are there any questions of officers? Councillor Pattis.
Thank you, Mayor. Through you to Mr. Wee. I commend the report, and also I think the selection is a very, very good selection for the independent auditor. I was going to ask Mr. Wee, if we wanted to make a change to the current Audit and Risk Committee Charter such that an independent member of that committee cannot be appointed to any other community advisory committee in the future, how would we go about doing that?
If that is the will of council, there are a number of steps. The process by which an audit and risk committee member is appointed is set out in the Audit and Risk Committee Charter. That is a document that Council itself approves. Indeed, Council approved that at the last Council meeting, most recently the last Council meeting in August. In order to change that process, my recommendation, office's recommendation, is that it should be referred back to the Audit and Risk Committee to consider a possible change to the Charter based on your query. If that's Council's will, that can then come back to this chamber as a recommendation and be passed in the form that Council considers appropriate. I'm sorry, councillors, I'm just correcting the word remunerate, which I struggled to pronounce correctly, but unfortunately typed incorrectly. My apologies, councillors.
Thank you, Mr. Wee. Councillors, if there are no further questions, is anyone prepared to move a motion? Councillor Abuki.
Yes, I'm happy to move the motion, thank you.
Do I have a seconder?
Sorry.
Councillor Pattis.
I was just going to clarify through you, Mayor. I think Councillor Ibuki was going to move an amended motion, including a third option. I just want to clarify whether that's what she wants to do or whether she'd like me to move it.
Councillor Abuki, would you like to speak for yourself? Which motion would you like to move?
I would like to consider Councillor Pattis's recommendation so that we can draft an amended motion. Happy to do that.
So are you putting this motion up to be moved?
Yes, let me just read that motion, please. Yes, happy with that motion. Thank you.
And Councillor Pattis, are you happy to second that motion?
Yes, Mayor.
Is anyone opposed to assist the mover? No one's opposed. So, Councillor Abuki, would you like to, as the mover, speak to that motion?
Yes, thank you. Briefly, through you, Mayor. It was great to have so many applicants of very high calibre who applied for our Audit and Risk Committee position. Mr. Ayono has a great experience and we look forward to him contributing to the Audit and Risk Committee. I also thank Councillor Pattis for his for looking at how we can further strengthen our Audit and Risk Committee by taking a change back to the committee so that we can look at the independence of all members. So thank you for that, Councillor Pattis.
Before we move to vote on the motion, the CEO would like to make a comment.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I'd just like to point out the order in which number 3 structures the arrangement on the basis that, as it reads, it essentially says that the Audit Committee should contemplate an amendment to the Charter to prevent a member being appointed to another council committee. The Audit Committee can't really do that. What they can do is structure this in the other way, which is to say that a member who is appointed to another council committee cannot be a member of the Audit Committee. I actually think it's the wrong way around and would suggest that maybe we could just change it to reflect that.
Councillor Abuki, would you be happy? We might make that change on the screen and then come back to you to see if you'd be happy with that. Councillor Bookie, would you like to? Oh, it's coming. See it? Do you want to have a look at that? Okay with that?
Yes, thank you. Happy to take that as written. Thank you.
Councillor Pattis is the seconder. Are you happy to second that motion on the screen?
I'm happy to and would like to just really briefly speak to it.
I was going to come to you, Councillor Pattis. Councillor Bookie, I assume you've already spoken to it. Yep. So I was going to come to you, Councillor Pattis, as a seconder of the motion. Would you like to say something?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Very briefly, the point number 3 in there in no way is a reflection of the current members of that Audit and Risk Committee. They are very high quality. They're high quality people with really great experience. It's really more about the future, and the Audit and Risk Committee needs to be a committee which has to be beyond reproach. It's the committee that actually has to ask the hard questions, and it would be, in my view, inappropriate for a member of that committee to also have relationships in other areas and a member of other committees. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Pattis. I'll now put the motion to the vote. All those in favour? I declare the motion carried. This brings us to the close. The end of order of business for the meeting. Thank you to all who have joined us in the gallery and online this evening. I now declare the council meeting closed.